So about 5 years into it, I finally got my opportunity. And during that, probably the first year of going driver, I got diagnosed with diabetes. So kind of during the day, I worked as an electrician. And in the evenings, I worked at UPS part-time to try to get that opportunity to go full-time. And when it did happen, it took a turn. At the time, it seemed like, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? But I'm just thankful that God had a plan.
Hey, everyone, and welcome to the LYFE Podcast, where we just sit down with people in our community that you might know from business or whatever public life they live, but we try to get to the story and hear kind of the background. I'm actually here with my good friend, Tim Symons, and we go back 1 or 2 years, or like probably 40, isn't it?
Or then some, yeah.
Yeah, holy buckets. We're not young guys anymore.
No, what's going on?
Well, good deal. Well, hey, thanks for coming on.
Thanks.
But it's weird. When I know some people really well, sometimes I sit down with them and do the podcast, and then I'll learn something about them. So it's crazy. I know you were raised in this area.
Yeah.
Went to Lakeland, but yeah, just tell us about your family, parents, brothers, sisters, or not sisters, but brothers, that type of thing.
I have some sisters.
Yeah. Good. Talk to me.
Yeah, born here back in 1967. That was a while ago.
You're old, dude.
We're getting up. I probably met you probably somewhere in our teens.
Yeah.
Lots of stories to be told. Lots of stories, but I'll just keep it on the down low here. Yeah, I think our families were close. They went to the same church. We did a lot of sports together. We even ended up in college together.
Yeah. In North Dakota.
Who would have thought, right?
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's a little smaller community there, so we felt a little more comfortable because Coeur d'Alene wasn't so big back in the day. Yeah.
Let's talk about that. What was it like growing up in Coeur d'Alene? Like, your teenagers were really the 80s,
Yeah.
Like, what was it like? What was Coeur d'Alene like?
I remember as a kid, the pier out there where the Coeur d'Alene Resort is now, I had uncles that worked out there running the rides. It was a whole different landscape back then. It was big and open, but man, it took off, hasn't it?
No, dude, crazy. I remember going to your house like when I was a teenager. I just had a flashback. Do you remember Sarge?
Oh, yeah.
Come on. And I remember this, wasn't a Rottweiler, wasn't it?
Yeah, big old
Just
boy.
this big old dog. And it was like we'd play football or something with him.
Oh, yeah. We'd
I was
line
always
up
a little bit
across,
nervous.
say hike, and he'd try to tackle it.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude. Yeah, it was a
He's
scary
a good dog.
He was a good dog, but a little bit scary.
Yeah, he's a big German Rot, so he had this big head. He was probably good 100, almost 150 pounds.
Yeah.
So,
And his head was like, I don't know, it was massive.
yeah, he demanded attention, that's for sure.
And so you, you lived kind of on the north side. Was it
Yeah.
Hayden or what?
Garwood area.
Okay,
Yeah,
Garwood.
but-
So you were in the Lakeland School District, right?
Yep, graduated from Lakeland in 1985. It was a good run. Lakeland was good back then.
Yeah. I mean, I remember going to your state championship game in the Kibbe Dome in Moscow.
Yeah.
Was that right?
Yeah,
I can't remember if that was you or your brother. That was you, wasn't it?
we played there. Yeah, I don't remember which game it was. It's been a long time ago.
Yeah, that was. Oh, okay. So two brothers, just to kind of jump forward a little bit. Married, boys,
two
got some
sons, Joshua and
grandkids.
Caleb, 2 grandsons. Yeah,
Come on.
the family is growing.
Yeah, that's
As soon as
crazy.
Caleb finds that right woman. Let's go, Caleb. Well, hopefully we'll have some more.
Good night. That's crazy. I don't have any grandkids yet, but I think it's my oldest is married now, so it's probably not super far off.
No, it's coming. Probably
Yeah.
sooner than you think. I even remember. Did you work at UPS?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I think I worked at UPS probably a little bit. Was it a little bit before
I think
you?
so. Yeah,
Or no, I think we had some overlap, didn't we?
I think so.
Yeah, I was in the
We had-
mornings and you were at night.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, so out of high school, you're working at UPS. That kind of brings us to the next story. So talk to me about UPS. What was that like?
Yeah. I worked there probably 5 years in a part-time position. The goal was to go driver, right?
Yeah.
So about 5 years into it, I finally got my opportunity. And during that, probably the first year of going driver, I got diagnosed with diabetes. So kind of during the day, I worked as an electrician. And in the evenings, I worked at UPS part-time to try to get that opportunity to go full-time. And when it did happen, it took a turn. At the time, it seemed like, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? But I'm just thankful that God had a plan and I was able to fall back into the electrical trade and make something to happen out of it. So it was a
Yeah.
good, yes.
Now, were you unable to become a driver due to the diabetes, or how did diabetes play a role in that?
You know, wasn't too long after I got the opportunity to go full time that I got diagnosed with diabetes. During that time, it was kind of wasn't as common back then. So UPS had a lot of requirements to do testing and reporting, made it very difficult to have a full time job driving. So one thing led to another, and I just went back to being an electrician. I've been there ever since.
Yeah, it's crazy, but sometimes, not obviously you can look back on life, see things as maybe not the best situation, but God has another plan, and sometimes things that we see as a bad thing end up being like a really good thing.
Yeah.
So, you were an electrician for how long before you kind of branched off and started your own company?
Yeah. I've been in the trade probably close to 35 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have an uncle that had a company in town, so I was working with him, like an electrician by day. One thing led to another. A couple different job opportunities came along, and then ended up getting my journeyman's license. And once I had the blessing from my wife, we started our own business.
Yeah. So what was it like starting your own business? Was that scary? Was it like, because you go from like a steady paycheck to kind of an unknown? I mean, the ceiling's probably a lot higher, but the floor is also a lot lower.
Right. Yeah, it was definitely a step of faith, and that was a hard transition because you go from not getting a paycheck working by the hour to earning everything. So you learned on the fly, but the cool thing about it is years later, looking back after you take that step of faith and see God be faithful time and time again, it's never perfect, but it seems to always work out. Yeah. It was a scary time. Even today in business, there's ups and downs and workflow, but it really helps you to develop a really deep trust in God because now I have people I'm responsible for.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
It's not just myself,
right.
so you got families that you're committed to and you want to make sure that they are taken care of.
Yeah. Oh, totally. So if we go back to that initial startup with VPC Electric, was you're 22, 23? Where are you at on that?
24,
24 years, which
2024, 2004.
yeah, which is crazy because it seems, I mean, like I remember when you started it seems like that was like a couple of years ago.
It
Time
flew
just
by.
goes fast. So you started it. What did you, like, like you started the company. Was it just you? Did you have employees right away? Like, what did you do?
I was just a one-man show working by the hour for whoever would hire me.
Okay.
So I worked really hard, developed some good relationships. One thing led to another, had to hire a helper, was working out of the garage in my home, and then eventually we ended up buying a building, grew it to multiple employees, 9 vans, and there's just an ebb and flow of business. It's a little slow right now, but we're getting ready for the busy season again.
Yeah.
See what God has for us.
Yeah, it's crazy here, and anything to do with construction in North Idaho, it just there's definitely some ebbs and flows, and
Yeah.
sometimes the winters are tough.
Yeah.
So yeah, can you go back to that? Put ourselves back in 2004, 2005. What were those first few winters like for you, as far as like just starting your business, where it's like, oh my goodness, we've got. Since it was just you, was everything okay? Or was it like, oh no, there's some ebbs and flows even back then?
There was a year or weeks that I didn't get a paycheck.
Yeah.
We were just, what are we going to do? But it always seems at the right time, God provides. So yeah, there were times where money was thin. And there's also times when we're living high on the hog, but
Yeah.
you learn to budget for those times because it's never going to stay that way. Over time, it all just works out.
Yeah. Yeah. So you had So how long were you in business before it was just a helper, before it was like, okay, did I have to hire some employees?
Yeah,
Like I need to hire someone to answer the phones. I need to, like, how many years were you in business before that
probably
happened? Do you
three,
remember?
4 years. And we
Okay.
just started adding more people. We used to sub out, our bookkeeping. Now we do everything in house, marketing. So you just start bringing things in house and start having a little bit more control over it so that you could develop your own personality in the
Yep.
community. And yeah, doesn't take long.
Well, I mean, 3 or 4 years when you're, that startup period, I mean, sometimes those are the toughest times. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs are not able to get past that 2 or 3 or 4 years before it's like,
Yeah,
oh, dude, I need to go back to where I get a steady paycheck.
right.
So yeah, it's, I mean,
You know what it's like. You've
oh
started your own
yeah. Oh, dude,
businesses.
not only were there times in business where I didn't get a paycheck, there were times in business when I was writing the business a check. So it's like, wait a minute here. That's deflating when you write the business a check. You're like, okay, I actually paid money to work.
Sometimes
So
you got to keep those people busy because
uh,
it's about the people you have working for you.
yeah, oh,
Make the
totally,
business.
totally. In your at VPC, has your business, does it have a certain concentration? Has it always had that certain concentration? I know there's different types of electrical companies, and some do only new construction, some do
Yeah.
only commercial, some do. What exactly do you do as far as you specialize in something specifically?
Yeah. To begin with, we did whatever we could get our
Oh,
hands
yeah,
on,
yeah.
right?
Yep.
But as time progressed, we focused more on service. Service is more working directly with homeowners. We don't work with general contractors. And anytime we do new construction, it's usually because our customer wants us to do it. We're not bidding against other competitors. They want that personal attention.
Yeah.
They want us to do their work because they like us, they trust us, they feel secure with what we do and how we do it. So, yeah, so that kind of led us to doing service work. So service work is more like, older homes, they need panel upgrades, they have issues with electricity, flickering lights, want to upgrade their lighting or their circuitry, maybe adding hot tubs, EV chargers. There's a lot of things people get a sauna, a massage chair, something that requires dedicated power and their system can't handle it. What we pride ourselves is quick response. So people want attention, they want it now. We could give that personal attention to them that they need. And we want to build customers for life, just not one hit and get.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, I can definitely, what do you call it? Testify to what you do. I don't know if that's the right word, but I had an old home down in where was it? By Sanders, and we were remodeling the kitchen. And when we tore the walls, when we're tearing cabinets out and tearing the walls apart, the electrical stuff in the
Oh,
walls
yeah.
were like crazy. And I was like, Tim, you got to help me with this. I think you ended up putting in more breakers, or I don't know if you might have even replaced the whole breaker box or something. I don't remember what you did, but that job that I thought I was going to change out the cabinets, I ended up needing to do
Oh, yeah.
like all new wiring, because I mean, there was literally some of my wires, I think, were held together by like black tape or duct tape.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I'm sure there weren't really a lot of, like permits or whatever that happened back in
Yeah.
the 20s or 30s. If you
Oh,
had a
yeah.
truck, you were a contractor, right?
We see all kinds of things, especially because the requirements to get electrical licenses in the state of Idaho have changed tremendously, not for the good, but for the bad.
Really?
Yeah, so it used to be to get electrical contractor's license, you had to have a master's license, which is a level higher than a journeyman's license. And then you have to do continuing education. So you have to have so many credits every 3 years to sustain that contractor's license. Now they don't have that requirement. If you have a journeyman's license, you're in. You can get your contractor's license. They don't have continuing education anymore, so it makes it a lot easier. So there's a lot of people working out there just a man in a truck, just trying to make a dollar.
Boy, that's a tough line, because I'm definitely a person that believes in freedom and believes that, the government should stay out of our
Sure.
business. But I'm also a person that believes I want someone very qualified to be doing wiring in my
Right.
house, because I don't want my house to burn down. Well, classic example. You probably remember, we have Beaumont Exchange, and what
Yeah.
was it? Boy, 2007. I don't remember when. We got a call, and the entire mini mall that we were in had burned down.
Wow.
That was over there on
Oh, yeah.
4th and Best.
Right.
And long story short, we found out the reason why is they hired someone to do the heat tape.
Yeah.
And what he did was, I'm butchering this, but supposedly your heat tape wire should go to like some kind of GFI switch or
GFCI,
yeah, whatever, whatever. I'm surprised I got the G part right. But he just hardwired into like the main wires.
Yeah.
And so when something happened, nothing was there to protect it, and it just caught on fire. And
I remember that.
yeah, just
7-Eleven.
bada bing. So it was like, and it was literally a guy in a truck that lives in Athol, Idaho, that the owner of the building was in California and was like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
dude, I need someone to go up there and do this. And he was like, oh
Sure.
yeah, I got it. And I'm sure they didn't do any permits or
Yeah.
whatever they did. I'm sure they didn't do anything they were supposed to do because obviously the building burned.
Right.
So,
Well, that's a thing though. I mean, if you're just a price shopper,
right.
you don't know what you're going to get. You're just rolling the dice. So sometimes it's better to go with somebody that has experience, who's proven themselves in the trade. If you check us out online, we have over 500 5-star reviews. We've been doing this a while.
Yeah.
We're trusted in the community. We've established our rapport. People trust us. So
Yeah.
that's what our goal is, just to work with people and build their trust.
Yeah.
Make sure that they're safe.
Yeah. And I'm just thinking as a, person who's owned multiple homes, once the sheetrock is up, you have no idea what's behind the wall as far as the wiring or the plumbing, like you have no idea. I mean, we've had, our homes wasn't built that long ago. We haven't owned it since the beginning, but we've had like plumbing issues, and when we get them fixed, it's like they're tearing the walls. Our home was built during that mega boom, like back in 06, 07 or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And they were just putting houses up so quickly. And we'll have plumbers go like, did you do this? I'm like, no, I don't know anything how to do plumbing because, man, this is totally wrong, or whatever.
Right.
And I'm like, no one, you can't tell until you tear the sheetrock apart and see that inside. So, yeah, I totally get that.
Yeah, that freedom to do, it's your home. You should be able to do what you want to. But most of the time, you sell that home, it becomes somebody else's.
Yep.
So the codes and the permitting is designed to help the next person down the road.
Well, yeah, and I totally agree with your home. You should do what you want with it. But at the same time, there is some kind of safety because I don't want to buy a home that wasn't done properly, and then like our business burns down because someone didn't do what they were supposed to do.
Happens every day.
It does. Well, I know, outside of VPC, you've also got another business that's out there on your property. What can tell me about that?
We have a storage facility so people can park their boats, trailers. It's all open storage. But that was just something that just came along the way. Excuse me, getting over this nasty cold.
Yeah.
But yeah, VPC Electric was kind of the ground floor where we started everything. But one thing led to another, and we were able to build another business out of it. Now we own some commercial property. We have a few tenants in that same facility, same property, where we have commercial storage, industrial type of commercial building.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think as an entrepreneur, I think, in my mind, you hit on something pretty powerful there. Even though you were an electrician, opened an electrical company, and obviously haven't had it for a long time. But as an entrepreneur, you see some opportunity.
Yeah.
And you're like, dude, hey, jump on it, right? Right? I mean,
right. You got to keep your head on a swivel,
Yeah.
You only have one pillar of income. Sometimes it goes dry.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we were very fortunate to find that piece of property, especially here in Coeur d'Alene.
Yeah.
Property doesn't come easy.
Oh, no, it's prime. I mean, it's at the time when you bought it, I mean, there was not a ton out there. And now, I mean, that Salties Way is it's seriously getting developed.
Yeah. We're kind of still in the county, kind of in between Coeur d'Alene and Post Falls, right along the river. So it's going to be annexed into one of the cities eventually.
Yeah. And then there's that I think it's the smallest city in the United States.
Yeah.
Hutter.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like a city. And I read, I was in the Old Town Bar?
Old School Bar.
Old School Bar. And they have a sign in there saying that Hutter is the smallest incorporated city in the entire United States. It's only like half-mile wide and I think 3/4 of a mile long or something like that, which is crazy.
Right.
So is there a mayor of Hutter?
I heard there is. I've tried to contact them a few times.
I mean, there's probably like 3 or 4 families that live
Right.
I always just thought that was a I've lived here my entire lifetime. I did not know that that was its own city.
Right. You
Yeah.
know, they
But
got
you're not in you're right by Hutter, but you're not in
yeah,
Hutter.
Hutter's right in the middle of it all. So it's kind of a unique little town, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's crazy. I know we're kind of bouncing all over the place, but getting back to VPC, I see electric companies, around Coeur d'Alene, around Kootenai County or whatever. You might see a van, or you might see, most of the time it's a dude's pickup. He's got like a magnetic sign on the side, which nothing's wrong with that. I mean, yeah, you got to start somewhere or whatever. What makes VPC different than how do you stand apart from those, or how are you different than those guys besides and I know that, with the master electrician
Sure.
and kind of, in the, obviously your experience and all of that, but I mean,
Yeah.
what else would you say separates you?
We give the personal touch to everything that we do. Our goal is to really hear what our customer wants and
Yeah.
provide them with options, kind of suggestions of ways we could do that and meet their needs. A lot of times they start out going one direction and end up going in a completely different direction.
Yeah.
Maybe lighting in their kitchen. They never really thought about under counter lighting, or accent lighting for artwork. We try to give them ideas to help see a little further down the road of where they want to be.
Yeah.
So we give that personal touch. We treat their house like it's a castle, because it is their castle. Our goal is to leave it better than when we came. We want it to leave it, our guys clean up after themselves. They're all drug tested, background checked. So there's a lot that goes into that, especially in construction. It's hard to find good quality people. So we want to make sure that the service we provide, the customer gets a feeling of they could trust us. They have peace of mind.
Yeah.
They want to call us back again if they need something.
Yeah. I mean, I could definitely, when you were talking about that, it just reminded me of you guys doing, a Beaumont out there
Yeah.
on our Prairie store.
Thank you.
Our big one. Yeah, but I mean, because we basically, I think it was like a Blockbuster Video or something before we moved in there. And so basically it was completely gutted, and we had to do, not we, but you guys did, new lights and
vision.
switches and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, we knew we needed lighting, and we
Yeah.
knew we had a specific idea. My wife didn't want the wacky fluorescent lights. And so I know she's pretty particular, but just being able to run that by you and,
Yeah.
we didn't know what was even out there. So I can definitely attest to that. It was definitely something that, you kind of helped, we had the idea, but we didn't know how to get there.
Brooke knew where she was going. It's just trying to figure out the best way to get there. So we just, help nurture her ideas and finally come out with what she wanted.
Oh yeah. And we've been there for like 8 years or 9 years or 10. Yeah. We've been
few
there for a
different
long
locations.
time. Yeah. We have a few locations, but I'm, just was thinking about that one because we had to do, all the lights were new, all the,
Right.
all the stuff was new. And it was like, dude, we have no idea what to do. So
Yeah.
it was
a fun project.
It was definitely important for us to be able to sit down with you. I didn't do anything. Brooke able to sit down with you and say, okay, this is what I'm thinking, but she didn't know how to get there. So
Yeah.
that was very valuable.
Yeah, it turned out great.
Yeah, good deal. What I try to do so that people that are people that watch or whatever, they've got something they can take away. And I know you've been, like I said, you've been in business for a long time. You've been in this community for a long time because you're seriously an old guy, way older than me. Yeah, I wish, but not. What if you looking back at your business? This is the tough question. If there was something that you say, oh gosh, if I would know now what if I would have known then what I know now, I would have probably done this differently in business. Is there something that comes to mind?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think as I matured through the process, early on, it's about making money, right?
Yeah.
Later down the road, what's more important is the relationships you develop along the ways. Getting that mind shift from this is a customer to this is someone you're going to see in community, someone you're either going to be at a ball game, recognize them. It's a pretty, Coeur d'Alene's grown a lot, but it's a pretty tight community.
Yeah.
And I think the most important thing is develop strong relationships built on integrity and trust.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, I would slow down a little bit, spent more time developing those relationships because they go a long ways.
Yeah. Yeah. Those are good words. Definitely there's definitely times in life where you're just like, dude, I need to step on the gas and go 120.
Yeah.
And then, at the same time, it's like, oh my goodness, I probably could have backed that down to like 100 and, just spent more time, developing that stuff. But
Yeah.
as far as, as far as, even when you were going 120, because obviously I've known you for a long time,
Yeah.
I've always known you as a person of very high integrity and a person that
Oh.
is, really, I'd say this not lightly, but lived a life above reproach. It's not like I ever have to be like, oh, dude, got to watch out for Tim because,
Yeah.
so always very giving to our community and all of those types of things. So even though you were going fast, definitely don't sell yourself short regarding any of that kind of stuff because you've always operated with very, very high integrity.
I appreciate that. Coming from you, that means a lot.
Yeah. Well,
I've made my share of mistakes for sure.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I definitely have. So looking back at the same situation, what do you feel like you really did right?
I wish I could take credit for it all. I think it comes down to just paying attention.
Yeah, that's good. That's good words.
Life, as we were talking about earlier, just passes by so quickly, but I think no matter what you're doing, opportunities come up and you have to keep your head on a swivel and pay attention. I never thought I would be an owner of commercial property, several rentals, but when the opportunities arise and God wants your attention, if you're paying attention, He gives you opportunities to make something out of it. So, yeah, I've been blessed.
Yeah, dude, those are excellent words. Paying attention. I mean, because like I said, I've seen your life, I've seen your business grow and into different verticals. I'd like that for a business term, but it's because you were paying attention. Like I'm thinking, when I first saw your property, I think the very first time I ever saw it, I think you were, hey, we're looking at this property. We bought this property when I drove out there to look at it or whatever. And there was no RVs or boats or anything out there. I don't know if that would have even dawned on me, but you were paying attention. Yeah, that's powerful words, man. I think we all got to pay. At least I know I got to pay a lot better attention.
I don't want to pay taxes on 6 acres and not have anything.
Yeah. Those are great words. Well, gosh dang it. I appreciate you coming on the podcast. And I would say to anybody out there, man, if you're looking for an electric company, especially anything in the service of your house or business or whatever, these guys are great people to call. They'll do what they say they're going to do. And for me as a business owner and, house remodeler person or whatever, the fact that my bill that came to me was what you told me it was going to be. It wasn't like, well, we thought it was going to be 600, but we ran into this, and this. And I'm sure that's happened sometimes, but now it's 2000. So you've always been very good at communicating and very good at keeping your word to what you said you would do. So I appreciate that. And man, give them a call. And hey, thanks for tuning in. And I will see you next Wednesday morning at 9:00. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.